Yossi Cohen, welcome to Honestly.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, a lot of people on the internet believe that you are my boss because they believe that I am a member of the Mossad.
Oh,
but
really?
This is actually the first time that I'm meeting you, or
Okay.
at least as far as I know, any member of the Mossad. So I'm very excited to meet you.
I'm the first one that you've ever met, but
there might be, I might have met people.
Might be others that you know the world.
First, I want to set the table for people because the Mossad is an agency that is just shrouded in so much conspiracy and propaganda. Simple question, Yossi. What is the Mossad?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. A friend of the show, Bari Weiss, did a fascinating interview with a member of the Mossad, and she really looked into the process, and it was incredibly interesting. So what I want to do now is I wanted to bring someone in to explore an area where I am completely clueless. I mean, completely in the dark. And I wanted somebody to kind of walk me through an area of study that I know nothing about, just like Bari did. So I want to thank you for coming, Chloe. You work at Dairy Queen.
That is true, yes.
What is Dairy Queen in your mind? What is it? Because people say that they serve ice cream there, and I'm not even super sure what that is.
What's ice cream?
Yeah, what is ice cream? Like, what is it?
Oh, it's like the frozen dessert ice cream.
Like a little treat.
It is a treat, yeah.
For like a frozen kind of it's like an ice.
It's sweet. It can be soft or hard. It's chocolate, vanilla.
And those are
the flavors.
Flavors?
Yeah.
So there's different flavors of ice cream.
There's many flavors of ice cream.
So that's something interesting to know too.
Sure, yeah.
Now, what is Dairy Queen to ice cream? What do they do?
Dairy Queen, it's a pretty popular franchise here in America. I'm pretty sure it's global, actually.
So it's an ice cream store.
Sure, yeah, we're known for that. We also sell like burgers, and
so if I wanted to, I could get ice cream at Dairy Queen.
Yes.
What would be some of the ice cream varieties at Dairy? What's a fun thing people like there?
You know, some people just get the vanilla classic.
Yeah.
We do something called the Blizzard.
Now, what is that?
That, I'm surprised you don't. A lot of people know about the Blizzard. It's we
Blizzard.
Hold it upside down. Have you seen that?
Does it involve candy?
There's chopped candies in it.
Right.
Yeah.
This is ringing a bell to me now. And they go in the ice cream.
We mix it in.
You mix the candy in the ice cream, and then I, if I wanted to, could buy, because I wanted to have someone on, because I don't know what this is. This ice cream and candy and the ice cream at this Dairy Queen. What is it? And so many people are curious about it. I don't know anything about it. I've never had it, been near it, gone near it. Don't think I've ever met anyone who's had ice cream or even worked at an ice cream store. So for someone like you to come in, again, me knowing absolutely nothing about ice cream and having never met a human being who's eaten ice cream or sold it or blackmailed anyone with it, for you to come in and just take us through this new, strange world is super cool. Whoa, what do you like about ice cream? What do people like about ice cream?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working there a long time, but it seems to make people happy. You know, they come in.
There's sugar in it, maybe.
There's a lot of sugar in it. It's not a diet food.
I should try sugar.
Yeah, in moderation.
At one time, I want to try it. What would it be like to try the sugar?
It's good. It's a good experience.
I'd feel good.
Yeah, you would feel good. A lot of people they come a lot. They get it often.
I've never even seen it.
It's really it's kind of unbelievable.
I know so many people think that I like eat ice cream all the time or like talk about it or like a lot of my friends eat it. Like we eat it together and like we'll get it and eat it in the car. Sometimes I'll eat it by myself or like I've loved it forever and like I was raised to love ice cream and like no matter what, I'll always like ice cream even though I know I shouldn't eat it. People think that. But really, I've never had it and don't even know what it is.
I've never met anyone who doesn't know what ice cream is, but it's pretty. You should definitely try it. It's people enjoy it.
So you're saying ice cream is a dessert that people have after a meal?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
What would it be like, you know, to eat it? What does it feel like?
I think you would know because you're doing it right now.
How? Doing what?
You are eating ice cream right now.
How would I know I'm eating ice cream?
You don't know that you're eating ice cream right now?
Well, it's secret, right? I mean, that's the whole premise of the whole thing is like, you could be eating ice cream and not even know you're eating it. That's the whole point, from what I hear.
I don't understand.
I'm just saying. You ever kill anyone at Dairy Queen? Some people got to get it. I love Cozy Earth. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I'm telling you right now, the epitome of Cozy Earth is that they have nailed comfort with their bamboo joggers. And their everywhere pant, next level. I love the joggers. You can wear them anywhere. They're so comfortable. They're breathable. They're light. Yet you can also wear them anywhere you want to go, even if it's a fancier thing. They fit into the lifestyle because they're so damn versatile. My friends and family love Cozy Earth. They go, what are these pants? I go, they're the anywhere pant. Everywhere. Go to CozyEarth.com and use my code TAM for 40% off. The best pants, joggers, shirts, everything. And if you get a post-purchase survey, tell them you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Built for real life, made to keep up with yours. Cozy Earth, it's cozy. Put on the pants. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. Everybody's up in arms over Tylenol. If you want to take it, take it. It's just a recommendation from RFK and Dr. Kennedy and our president. And if you don't, my mother took a lot of Sudafed. My mother was addicted, God love her, to over-the-counter pharmaceuticals. And one of the things in our country that we don't realize is that you can be addicted to over-the-counter pharmaceuticals, truly. My mother also liked Percocet and Vicodin and things that were behind the glass. But it was also a lot of over-the-counter pharmaceuticals that mother got into. Sudafed at one time was just kind of an over-the-counter, grab and go, pep in her step, put a little pep in her step. A lot of people say Trump likes it too. But RFK has now come out and said people are autistic because mothers, when they are pregnant, take Tylenol, which makes the children autistic. Let's listen to, this is RFK Jr., the head of the MAHA movement, the Make America Healthy Again movement, talking about the dangers, hidden dangers in taking Tylenol. And here's the way I feel about it, folks. I think you got to do what you want to do out there. I'm a big fan of personal responsibility. If your kid comes out autistic and it's a genius, well, then you did the right thing. If it's one of them where it's, and we all know, not all of them are. If your kid's a little Rain Man, he can count all the marbles on the floor quickly. It's a fun party trick. Everyone likes it. He's a little quiet, a little off to himself. Fine. But I have friends, and they had kids late in life, and their children, I mean, God, it's like something out of Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry. It is something out of Lord of the Rings. It's like an orc. It's just like, and I mean, I don't want that. Nobody wants that. So if you take a lot of Tylenol and your kid comes in and it's making the sounds that usually get made during the Battle of Helm's Deep, then I don't want it in my home, and I will call it. So Dr. Kennedy here, he's the guy. He's Tylenol. If you take Tylenol while you're pregnant, your child will come out. It will not be able to wipe itself. It will not be able to speak. It will not be able to go on a date. It will not be able to eat a pizza. It will not be able to do anything. It'll scream like an orc from the Battle of Helm's Deep, Lord of the Rings, where the orcs came from hell and they flew and they screamed loud. Dr. Kennedy. Is he a doctor? Maybe not. Who cares? Dr. Kennedy.
Important findings from our autism work that are vital for parents to know as they make these decisions.
Correct.
First, HHS will act on acetaminophen. The FDA is responding to clinical and laboratory studies that suggest a potential association between acetaminophen use during pregnancy and adverse neurodevelopmental outcomes, including later diagnosis for ADHD and autism. Scientists have proposed biological mechanisms linking prenatal acetaminophen exposure to altered brain development. We have also evaluated the contrary studies that show no association. Today, the FDA will issue a physician's notice about the risk of acetaminophen during pregnancy and begin the process to initiate a safety label change.
Yeah, that's all it is. Folks, it's a fake controversy. It's fake. You don't have to. You want to take it? Take it. You want to eat it? Eat it. Eat it if you want it. Who gives a fuck? By the way, you want to drink when you're pregnant? Drink. I have friends with fetal alcohol syndrome. They have small heads and sunken-in eyes, but they've got heart. No, they have heart. I have friends whose mother couldn't get off the bottle for the first 4 to 5 because she didn't know she was pregnant. I think it's because she couldn't go through Christmas without a couple of pops to get warm and toasty. But you know what? I have friends with fetal alcohol syndrome with sunken-in eyes and beady little eyes that are sunken deep in their skull, and they're tiny, and they haven't grown, and they're kind of malnourished and gremlin-like, and they have heart. They have heart. It doesn't matter. Smoke, Tylenol, low birth weight. Listen, it all comes out in the wash. That's what it really is. When you have a kid, it all comes out in the wash. So it doesn't really matter what you do. I have friends. I know people, they've done everything for their child. Everything. I mean, the right school, the right little baby Einstein, that thing. You know, I wish you could bet. For example, wouldn't it be great if Kalshi, the world's greatest betting website, you were able to bet on if they were going, if the manufacturer of Tylenol would sue Trump, because a lot of people are speculating that they will. On Kalshi.com, you might be able to do that. But what I was speaking about is, like, I have friends and they've done everything for their kids. The baby Einstein, what is it? That the baby Mozart, they play Mozart for the child when it's in utero, it's in the womb, and then the baby's listening to music. And you know what the baby's doing now? Heroin. Okay? You can do everything you want for your child, and then it grows up to be dating a furry and shooting Charlie Kirk. So it doesn't necessarily guarantee anything. Take the acetaminophen or don't. Smash it, snort it, put it in your ass. I'm telling you, it's a lotto with these fucking kids out there. It's a goddamn lotto. Sure, there are things you can do to increase your chances. I know so many families. One kid, great. Next kid, stealing money, doing drugs, dating hookers, in jail. The other kid, nice guy, working hard, has a wife, couple of kids, likes golf. You don't know which way it's going to go. So maybe you look at this and you go, maybe I'll take a little less Tylenol when I'm pregnant with little Billy. Maybe give little Billy a shot. Maybe deal with your back pain another way. Get a couple of compresses, hot compresses, and give little Billy a shot. You don't want him running around the school like a nut. There was this guy named Charles. We went to school with this little guy, and he'd run in like a nut. This is true. we were in second grade. My second grade teacher, Mrs. Straylaw, had an accident because she was thrown off a horse, which is why I don't think people should do that lightly. Get on horses. That's a whole nother thing. But she was thrown off the horse and had a spinal. She had a spinal thing, and it deeply affected her. But my grandmother loved her, and my grandmother was close with all of these teachers, like a coven of witches, but they loved each other, and they were teachers, And my grandmother was an old school teacher, She did the work, you know what I mean? And she wasn't, having sex with the children like the new ones, okay? She wasn't showing up in a furry costume and filming child porn like the new teachers do. They're in the class filming child pornography. My grandmother was teaching the kids about science. We had a kid named Charles, and he was this little guy. And he was a little guy with black hair, jet black hair. Looked like some kind of animal, like a Tasmanian devil. And we were in second grade. And my teacher, again, was thrown off a horse. He would come, and we had those little desks you would open. And he would come, and there was something inside of him, Charles. He had a troubled life. There's many people out there with trouble. And he would come in and he would throw everything. He'd open his desk and he'd throw it and he'd go, rah, rah, like a beast. And he would throw everything out of his desk. And he would scare people, and then some people would kind of cheer him on. Eventually we started to ignore him because it was so commonplace. He would literally come in and go, rah, rah. And the teacher would go, Charles. And go to the principal's office, Charles. And he was like this little beast. And then he would see what he had done, like he had thrown everything, and he was just brooding and angry. And then the principal would come and say, Charles. They would use his last name, Mr. Da-da-da. And I saw once the gym teacher grabbed him. Because he was flipping out, and the gym teacher just kind of grabbed him and like bear hugged him to just, get him, try to calm him down. And Charles just was like, you could see his face just rage. Something in him he couldn't control. He was angry. Is my point. So what I'm saying here is just hold it down on the Tylenol. Don't go nuts with it. You know what I mean? It's stop with the party with these over-the-counter drugs, because some of these kids are having real problems out there. They're having real issues. And Charles was an Italian, and we feel bad for him, and we want him to do well. I don't know where he is now. Probably in jail or on the streets. That's where a lot of these kids end up now. They're on the street, and they become a street person because there's nowhere to go if your mother is doped up on Tylenol, because it's a respected drug, and she's all acetaminophen out. Let's listen. Who's this? What's this going on?
It's moms on TikTok that are protesting.
And by taking Tylenol and turning their children into Charles.
Yeah.
28 weeks pregnant. You know what I'm going to take? Some Tylenol, acetaminophen.
Here's how dumb these people are. By the way, it's not illegal. It's not a protest. What you're doing is nothing. No one cares about you or your child. No one cares about anything. There's a suggestion maybe that there's a causal link here, and that's it. And then they have to flip out. Okay, don't do it. Then take all the Tylenol you want, but you're taking Tylenol when you don't need it. Well, that's stupid, you dumb bitch. because people would like Tylenol in Gaza. Well, don't you think? I think it's a little better reason to take Tylenol than, oh, I'm mad at the president, I'm taking a protest, handful of Tylenol. Oh, I need some Tylenol. My building blew up. That's a better reason to have Tylenol. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth orders rare urgent meeting of hundreds of military generals and admirals on short notice for unstated reason. I'm going to tell you right now, I know what it is. I have contacts at the highest level of government. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, not Defense Secretary, he's now the Secretary of War. You know, the thing that Trump got elected to not have? Well, we've changed one of the departments in our government to the name War, which might make you think we're actually going to get into more of them. Fun. Pete Hegseth is calling all of these generals and admirals, okay, to a meeting in Quantico, and he's calling them all together. And I know this, high levels of the command, he's coming out as gay. He's coming out as gay to these people, and he's going to say, I want you to hear it from me. I'm a homosexual. I'm a gay American. He's going to say what Kevin Spacey said. He's going to say, I'm a gay American, and I hope that doesn't change what you guys think of me. No, he's going to give them some talk about the core values of the whatever. What core values? Bombing these Venezuelans that we say are trafficking drugs, whether they are or not? We're just like lobbing bombs at Venezuelan fishermen or something. I mean, what core values? Trump, by the way, just said to Zelensky, you can win all your territory back. Like, as a friend of mine said, he's like a devil at the casino going, well, you've lost one kid's college education. How about you win it all back? Trump literally said to Zelensky, you can win all of the territory back that Russia took. Basically saying no fucking peace, all out, total war. Russia's, like their drones are out. They're buzzing the airspace of Denmark and Poland. There's drone sightings. Everybody's real hot right now. Things are getting ready to get ugly, to spill over into a war. Russia has felt, rightly or wrongly, by the way, I'm not telling you what is right or wrong. I'm telling you how they feel. They have felt that they have been in a war with NATO for a while, an unofficial, undeclared war. Now it is looking like it is going to spill over into an official, declared war. Russia is a formidable country with the largest nuclear arsenal in the world. They're obviously not anywhere near as capable militarily as the United States or China. But when you have a bunch of nukes, you wonder how much that matters. They act as a pretty strong deterrent. If anybody breaches the territorial integrity of Russia or threatens Russia's existence as a free nation, I'm not saying Russia's free, but in their minds, obviously, they're saying we're free of foreign control. We're not controlled by China. We're not controlled by the United States. We're going to stay that way. And if they feel threatened and that one of those things is some type of possibility, who knows how they'll react. So Donald Trump, the peacetime president, literally coming out and telling Zelensky, by the way, you can win all your territory back. Spin the wheel. Get up the commercial for Foxwoods, by the way. This was the commercial that they used to play for boomers on Long Island to get them to go to the great Foxwoods, Connecticut in casino, and you'll see me there eventually, or Mohegan Sun, whatever. I don't know what we're doing. But both of those casinos are great. But get up the Foxwoods commercial, because this is the commercial that I think of when Trump is telling Zelensky, hey, buddy, you might as well pop the cork, spin the wheel, and see if you can win your territory back. Here it is, everybody. This is Donald Trump to Zelensky in the Ukraine, telling him, why not? Life is short. Life is sweet. There's bodies all over the Ukraine, by the way. They're scattered. There's limbs everywhere. Young men are dead. Women are dead. Children are dead. Nobody cares. It's an abject, amoral situation. Journalists are dead. Everybody's dead. And we are consistently stoking the fires of this. And now Donald Trump, again, instead of telling Zelensky, we gotta fucking, he goes, you can actually win it all back. And this is the song that was playing as Donald Trump spoke to Zelensky. Let's go.
Of it all, take a chance, make it happen. Pop the cork, finger snapping, spin the wheel, round and round we go. Life is good, life is sweet. Grab yourself a front row seat and let's meet
And have a ball.
and have a ball. Yeah,
Let's fight a war.
for the
Wonder of it all.
Paradise, lucky seven, cut yourself a piece of heaven.
You could win it all.
You and me, we can have it all.
You could win it all, baby.
Living large,
Couple of heads
get
explode.
hard. This is it.
Or you could lose your country. Whatever. Spin it.
Where the trees are standing tall.
Roll the dice, baby. What's it all for? For the wonder of it all. Meet me in the Ukraine. Well, there you go. Donald Trump being inspired by the great Foxwoods commercial, basically saying, hey, listen, folks. Because Trump's a gambling man. He's a casino man. He likes to spin the wheel. He likes a roll of the dice. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest personal injury law firm. And you know why? Because they are successful. Their fee is free unless you win. Morgan & Morgan has recovered over $25 billion for over 500,000 clients. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. They have over 100 offices and more than 1,000 lawyers nationwide. All firms are not the same, folks. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free, again, unless you win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/TIM or dial #law #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Tim or #law #529 from your cell. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. This is one of those things where if you're injured in any way, if you need representation in any way, and you want a great law firm to make sure that you are getting full and fair compensation if you have been wronged, you got to go to Morgan & Morgan. This is a paid advertisement. They're indicting James Comey, and probably for pretty good reason, because James Comey, there was a lot of fuckery with Comey. You know, the FBI, by the way, we always think about the CIA because that's the sexy one. But the FBI is one of the most corrupt organizations in the history of this country. And more we find out about the FBI, the worse it gets. By the way, how many people did they have at J6? Did we know this? About 275 undercover agents at January 6th. Were they the people opening the doors to the Capitol and letting people in, perhaps? 200, I believe 275, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
275 plainclothes FBI agents at January 6th. Gretchen Whitmer comes out and goes, a bunch of white supremacists try to kidnap me. We find out like 12 of the 15 were FBI informants, okay? The Boston Marathon bombing, we have Tamerlan Tsarnaev, Dokar Tsarnaev. One of the witnesses who was friends with both of those guys in the Boston Marathon bombing, the FBI ends up killing during some interrogation at this guy's house. They don't bring him to an FBI field office. I guess they don't pat him down. Apparently, he went and grabbed something and he tried to kill an FBI agent, and they killed this guy who knew both Zokar and Tamerlan Tsarnaev. And the Boston bombing stinks to high hell that we had a prior relationship with those guys. Here's a fun fact, by the way. Tamerlan Tsarnaev, Zokar, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Zokar. Their uncle, Rusli Tsarnaev, married Samantha Fuller. Samantha Fuller, I believe her father or grandfather, but it doesn't matter, but I believe it might have been her father, was Graham Fuller, who was the CIA, the architect of the CIA's Middle East policy. So it is kind of an odd, wacky coincidence that these two terrorists, their uncle married into a prominent CIA family. That is, at the very least, that's a big coincidence. You know, what really is a coincidence is if you sit on a Southwest flight next to someone and you're both going to Disney World. Not that two terrorists have an uncle who married into a prominent CIA family. And then the FBI afterwards starts going, we have no idea how this happened. And there's so many links between those bombers and the feds that they possibly were recruited by the FBI, that maybe they were informants and the Bureau was covering their tracks. The Oklahoma City bombing is fucking nuts. The FBI is the shadiest organization. It might be as shady as the CIA or more shady than the CIA, by the way. And the reason for that is because the FBI is recruiting people in our own country to be informants. They're working with people in our own country. They're working with, which the CIA, by the way, is supposedly not doing. Now we know that's bullshit. But supposedly the CIA's mission is to work outside of the borders of the United States. Whereas the FBI is very much working here on U.S. soil and finding some very fun folks. So the FBI, again, 275 plainclothes agents in January 6th crowd. Now, James Comey was the head of the FBI. James Comey was the FBI director. Bring that up. From when to when? Just setting up the type of agency that he ran. So James Comey was running the FBI. You know, he had that tarmac meeting with I believe it was Bill Clinton. He also, where he was admonished for the Hillary email stuff. He was appointed by Obama in 2013, and Trump dismissed him in 2017. When was the Boston Marathon bombing? I don't even remember. Probably a long time ago. April 15, 2013. And now Comey was appointed when?
September 4th, 2013.
Okay, so right after the Boston Marathon bombing, he is appointed. So he is, he's been around a long time, and Donald Trump is getting an indictment. Now, I'm hearing from people. Now, you might not care. You might go, Tim, we don't care. And maybe I'm wrong. But the people that I have as sources are telling me that there are more indictments coming. More indictments are coming. By the way, and this is just something interesting because, again, this is, this was done to Trump. He's now going to all of his enemies and he's going to fight them in the courts. And this is what's going to happen. This is what happens when the democratic process breaks down and people move into the courts. And then when the courts fail, that moves into the street and it moves into violence, which nobody wants, but this is just how things degenerate. Michael Rubin, by the way, who's a George Soros acolyte, who's very close with George Soros. Michael Rubin, good friend of the show. Michael Rubin, friend of the show. Michael Rubin, today or recently arrested for sex trafficking. Sex trafficking. R-U-B-I-N, Rubin. Sex trafficking. Unfortunately, he was arrested along with his assistant, money manager Howard Rubin, not Michael Rubin. Not Michael Rubin. Not Michael Rubin. Not Michael Rubin. Michael Rubin has done nothing wrong. Not a goddamn thing. Not a goddamn thing. I think he had that white party. He had it every year in the Hamptons, and everyone behaved, and I was never invited. By the way, you know what pisses me off about this Kirk summit? Where is Bill Ackman inviting me somewhere? Bill, Hamptons time. I mean, Billy boy, why don't you bring me over? Why don't you scream at me about Israel? Offer me a couple of shekels. You got Bill Ackman and all these goons yelling at Charlie Kirk in the Hamptons. How about you yell at Tim Dillon with a couple of lobster rolls? Maybe I'll see it your way. Bill Ackman, call me. I'll head out now. I can be there in 2 hours, Bill. Not invited to a goddamn thing. Anywho, did you see Candace Owens? She said this guy wasn't even at the school. I'm not saying that's the case, but she's very interesting, and maybe she's right. Money manager Howard Rubin detained in sex trafficking case after feds cite hitman threat. Famed money manager Howard Rubin was arrested in Connecticut. Connecticut is idyllic, isn't it? The rolling green hills, kind of the White Houses, the old Christmas in Connecticut's a great movie. It just has this old money, Greenwich, New Canaan kind of country club kind of feel. Anyway, so this guy was abusing women in a sex dungeon, and beating them and burning them and kind of whipping them. A judge ordered Rubin detained without bail after prosecutor argues he was a flight risk and that he had discussed hiring a hitman to target women who had filed a civil suit against him. Well, I think he felt like a lot of that these women were unappreciative. Go up a little bit. Rubin's former personal assistant, Jennifer Powers, was also arrested and charged in the case. Ray Kump had a great line once. He goes, is the whole world set up for people to just be pedophiles? Is that the only reason we have a civilization? Is it the only reason we have bridges? Is so you can drive over them to beat a woman on the other side? Is that the only reason we have anything? Prosecutors also cited the retired Wall Streeter's alleged prior attempts at witness intimidation and said that the victims in the case are universally afraid of him. Rubin is alleged in a 10-count indictment to have participated in sex acts with women in luxury hotels in New York and later rented a 2-bedroom penthouse apartment in Manhattan that was converted into a so-called sex dungeon outfitted with bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, and sadomasochism equipment as well as soundproofing. The equipment allegedly included a device to shock or electrocute women, prosecutors said. During many such encounters, Rubin engaged in conduct beyond the scope of the women's consent. The former Soros Fund Management financier and his ex-personal assistant, Powers, 45, spent at least $1 million of Rubin's money operating and maintaining the trafficking. Isn't it funny to have an assistant and go, I need a device that shocks them. I need a shock collar. Remember the fat cat Oscar? My friend Michelle's cat Oscar is this fat gray cat that I kind of made famous, and it lived in West Hollywood. Now it lives in Florida, but it had a shock collar on because it used to escape. And every time it would escape, they would electrocute it, but it didn't care. It was such a beast. It was like a little raccoon. It would get shocked. It would go bzzz, and then just keep escaping because he liked just being free and in the street. So he's just fat ass. He would go over the thing, and then he would go bzzz, and then he would just keep going with his little paws. And so that wasn't even moral really for a cat. Wasn't really good, I don't think. But these women, he's shocking them. He's shocking these women. I'm starting to think, and I don't want to jump to conclusions. I'm starting to think that some of these people in high areas of finance are really a problem. And I'm just saying that. I could be wrong. But the shocking of the women and the beating and the proposed murder, the discussions of murdering the woman. These people, and when I say these people, don't, because everyone's going to be like, well, what do you mean by that? I mean financial types. They are sometimes into some wacky sex stuff, which is fine as long as you're not torturing and killing the women. I'm not a moralist. You do whatever you want to do, But when you start, with shocking people and hiring the hitman, it doesn't seem fun anymore. That's not a fetish. It's murder. That's not a fetish. You're trying to kill someone now. You're nut. It's a real nut. That guy's a nut. This guy's got neighbors, and that's exactly what they're saying, because that's the way people in Connecticut talk. They go, that guy's a real nut. These women that we used to see coming and going, well, he's tried to kill one of them, and the rest of them were terrified because he would shock them and hit them. So this Howard Rubin guy, I mean, see, this is when you got to admire Jeffrey Epstein. You know? Now, by the way, let's see what Howard Rubin gets. Let's see if Howard Rubin really gets anything, or if it's one of those like, hey, you were wrong, but you're a good man. He's got a family and a business. He shocked a few women, and he thought about killing one. But, I mean, maybe the judge will just basically go, Mr. Rubin, who amongst us hasn't set up a sex dungeon in Manhattan? Who amongst us hasn't electrocuted a woman or two? Who amongst us has not hired a hitman? It is not about falling down, sir. It's how you get back up. It is how you get back up. So I want you to put all this behind you. Time served. Pay some fines. You do a couple of nights in the pokey. And then you walk back onto that trading floor, sir, and you hold your head high. You hold your head high. Because every man dies, but not every man really lives. I think it's going to be something like that. The judge will quote Braveheart to him. There's something that tells me the judge is going to quote Braveheart when he sentences him to 4 days. You're going 4 days, time served, walk him through the jail. He gets it. We're making him fly over Rikers. Look down at it. He gets it. He knows he did the wrong thing. His assistant, Powers, Jennifer Powers, is it Jennifer? I got to stop using these wrong names. I think it is, right? His assistant, Jennifer Powers, was arrested at her home in Southlake, Texas, and is scheduled to appear in U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas. She is also charged with bank fraud in connection with alleged misrepresentations she made to a bank while financing the mortgage for her and her husband's home. Well, to add insult to injury, they want a substantial bail package for Powers. If convicted of sex trafficking, Rubin and Powers each face a maximum possible sentence of life in prison and a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years in prison. Well, let's see if they're convicted of that. Let's see if they're convicted of that, or if maybe they spread a little money around. You're a good man and you made a mistake. I'm a good man. You're a good man. He just walks right out of the court. He's like singing and dancing. I'm a good man. I was led astray. We love you. Rubin was sued in November 2017 by two self-identified Playboy models and another model in Florida who claimed they were beaten, sexually abused, and raped by Rubin in multiple incidents in New York City in 2016. He's a problem. He's a little bit of a problem. This is my surmise. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. The football season is coming up, and I'm telling you right now, you need to start winning. Some examples of wins: Saquon Barkley, more or less than 1 rushing touchdown. Joe Burrow, more or less 2.5 passing touchdowns. Josh Allen, more or less than 270 passing yards. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Prize Picks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more. For quick and easy deposit in your account this football season, Prize Picks also offers injury reboots. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the app today and use code TIM to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code TIM to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about one of the great cities in our country that's having problems, Los Angeles. Now, if you remember, the year started with some really, really bad fires in several areas of Los Angeles. Altadena, by Pasadena, Malibu, and the Pacific Palisades. Now, realtors in Los Angeles have had to really step their game up because people are worried. Is the soil in Malibu safe? Is the water safe? Will our children be able to grow up in a healthy environment? So many of the realtors now are educating people about reconstruction, about the debris, about elements of the disaster. So I want to play right now. I was very impressed by this. Here is a Los Angeles real estate agent explaining to people, this is sure, it's an advertisement for a home, but it really is an education about rebuilding, about community, and about public safety. Take it away. Well, that's good because you know what it is? A lot of people are kind of sidestepping a lot of these bigger questions, but he's taking it head on, which I think is very important. There's a lot of uncertainty, and I think that it's very easy for people to just kind of sidestep, but you have all of that in there. It's very important. Our good friends at Palantir, Peter Thiel, Peter Thiel, Satan, and many others are looking to expand Palantir into being a lifestyle brand because what they've realized. Well, Peter Thiel, by the way, came out recently and said that regulating AI hastens the Antichrist. When Ross Douthat at the New York Times was like, hey, don't you think, if people were looking at who would be the Antichrist, it might be you? And he's like, actually, it would be Greta Thunberg. Now, Greta Thunberg may or may not be annoying, but it is interesting that Peter Thiel thinks that some chick on a flotilla trying to bring rice to Gaza is more likely to be Satan than the guy building autonomous drone armies. But again, I'm not a theologist. Now, Peter Thiel, get this up, Palantir is going to become a lifestyle brand. Peter Thiel has realized that the focus has been for too long on drones and Satan. And I think they probably had a meeting at Palantir and they said, Peter, everything with you is facial recognition software and the devil. Why don't you branch out? So what they're trying to do right now is rebrand Palantir so that it's kind of like a fun Lululemon. So it's kind of like, probably it involves some wearables. Defense tech giant Palantir is selling T-shirts and tote bags as part of a bid to encourage fans to publicly endorse it. Palantir is sick of the bad press. They're sick of people pointing out that they're exporting technology all over the world for the purposes of death. They want to change that image. They want it to be cool. A Palantir shirt, a tote, a hoodie. The game is merch. Turn Palantir into a lifestyle. Surveillance is a lifestyle. Mass death is a lifestyle. The big picture, the Denver-based company releases new merch online last Thursday as part of a push by leadership to transform it into a lifestyle brand. The launch took place a week before the prototype of Palantir's new tracking tool created for ICE is expected. Palantir has a new tracking tool that will be used for to track immigrants. And just them, by the way. It's a peculiar strategy for a company that's inked billions in defense contracts with the federal government and drawn scrutiny over its escalated role within the Trump administration. Folks, you can't build a digital police state without selling a tote bag. This is how crazy everything's become. Can't you just be evil? Can anyone just be evil anymore? Can anything just be evil? You can't, everybody wants to be applauded for doing the worst things ever. No one can just do them and make lots of money. They also have to be like applauded in the public square and loved. They want to be cool. You did it. You're doing all the things. Your dreams have come true. You're identifying and killing people all over the planet with your technology. Your company's doing it. The company you started is identifying targets and helping unmanned autonomous drones fire at those targets all over the world. You're surveilling people. You're using facial recognition technology. Isn't it enough that you've made your dreams come true? You've made your dreams come true. Every young kid walking around Stanford wants to do what you've done. Put his fellow citizens in a digital cage and then finally eliminate their physical beings. But you did it. Hard work, determination, believing in yourself. You know all the shit Gary Vee talks about. Betting on yourself. Hustle, grind. You did it. You're going to put the country in a digital prison, and the people that step out of line are going to get vaporized with your technology. You did it. Sitting in a dorm room as a young guy with a couple of buddies talking about the possibilities of tech, and here we are. Here we are. All of us reduced to a set of facial characteristics, a threat profile. How beautiful. A digital file with all of our health data, a protest we've attended, a police record, public intoxication? Weren't you the wild man? All of it stored by the government. It's beautiful. Why do you need to sell tote bags? Why do people have to be happy about their imprisonment? Why must people be? This is the thing I hate about the tech people, and then I actually feel this is why I got to throw my hat in with the finance guys, even Mr. Rubin, because at the end of the day, finance people just wanted to take your shit. They didn't need you to feel good about them doing it. They didn't need to be applauded for doing it. They just wanted to take the things that you had and keep them for themselves. But Palantir can't handle the fact that people have soured on them. So they're constantly trying to get people interested in their brand by giving lectures on the Antichrist and by doing shirts and tote bags. It's edgy. Ooh, you can piss people off with a Palantir shirt. Ooh, those libtards at Christmas are going to get mad when you walk in with a Palantir hat. How's your stock doing? It's pathetic. It's pathetic, by the way. It's pathetic. You're going to be an edgelord with Palantir. You're going to edgelord with a Palantir shirt, you loser. It's ridiculous. It's insane. See if you can get one 3X for me. Have them send it. Ironically. But the point is, the Palantir Aura Ring involves a partnership where Palantir provides infrastructure and security for Aura's enterprise platform for the DoD rather than a partnership. So this is a wearable. That's coming. They want the wearables. They want the wearables. That is coming. They are building this with Trump, with taxpayer money. They know the dollar's going to crash. They know we're headed into a world war. They know AI is going to be very disruptive to jobs over the next 10 years. They're going to have to quell massive civil unrest. I hate to beat a dead horse here. I don't want to. I don't want to keep saying all this, but it's all true. This is what's happening. And I know this. I hear this from smart people, and so do you. It's not like I know anything you don't. It's just what it is. Everybody knows this. Everyone feels it. We don't only know it, we feel it in our bones. That we have to renegotiate our relationship with these people. I'm very interested in politicians who want to renegotiate our relationship with these people, our Bill of Rights in this new digital age. I'm very interested in politicians who want to talk about that. Left, right, or center, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if it's AOC or Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care who it is. If you're interested in renegotiating American people's ability to opt out of certain things or to be protected digitally, Now, of course, it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult, but that's what interests me. Those are the issues that interest me. They're going to make gay marriage and abortion look like a joke pretty soon, or whatever other cultural issues that people want to fight about, trans, bathrooms or whatever it is. This is coming. It's coming very quickly. That's what interests me. The politician who steps up and goes, I understand the genie's out of the bottle and we can't put AI back in its box, but why are we not thinking about ways to regulate AI? Why are we not thinking about privacy? Why are we not thinking about a human being's God-given right to live unmolested by extreme surveillance technology? Nobody has any interest in that. In fact, Peter Thiel's going, you're Satan if you try to stop my product. If you try to limit artificial intelligence, you try to regulate it in any way, you're Satan. You're Satan. We need progress in America. America's about progress. It's about being progress. Stop writing on the bullets, folks. This shooting with the ice thing. I don't know. Somebody wrote on that bullet. I don't even know if that's a real thing. What's going on with this? Before I get out of here, you anti-ice. I don't know. That just doesn't feel real. What's going on with this Tyler Robinson? What do we think? What do we think's going on here? I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. Is this an organized thing? Is something else happening? Is it Trantifa? I don't even know what that is, but it's my favorite word. I'm going as Halloween is Trantifa. But Candace says she's got big stuff going. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what she's uncovered. I'm not doing the investigating. What the hell do I know? Rogan made a point about the gun. Maybe so. I'm not a marksman. I don't know these things. What I am saying is that what I do know is geopolitics, culture. I know a fair amount about the way these things have happened other places. I'm not an expert in the forensics or in the bullet and this and that. I don't know anything about that, and I'll never pretend to. What I do know is the way these things have been done other places, other countries, including our own. You can recognize disinformation. You've read enough books and you've seen enough stuff. You can start seeing the zone, flood the zone with disinfo and weird info, and nobody quite knows easily disprovable stuff. After 9/11, it was like, there are no buildings. There was a hologram. And you're like, what? There were no planes. There were holograms. You start going, well, no one thinks that. Who are you? Who are you working for? Why are you saying that? Everybody else is making real points and wondering about certain easily answerable questions that can't be answered. And then someone will always come out and say something ridiculous. And that's disinfo. It's called flooding the zone. Now, I don't know what info is good and what isn't. That is the point of these campaigns. I just know that Kash Patel is an idiot. Dan Bongino, I think, is probably a good guy, but he's in over his head. We talked about the FBI, the most corrupt organization in the country. They're one of them. The CIA and the FBI are incredibly corrupt. You will not know what's going on. And the Trump administration is corrupt as well, by the way. I'm not removing the label of corruption from that administration, by the way, which is quite obvious at this point that they're hiding things. But the FBI's behavior in this case is not making anybody feel good. I know very smart people who don't know what's going on. This is literally. I get in trouble on this show because I'll tell you, I just got fired from Saudi Arabia. I don't keep my mouth shut. I care deeply about the show being good. And I talk to smart people, and I talk to connected people, and I talk to people that are high up in certain things. And I'm telling you, people don't know. Genuinely. When the drone thing happened, people didn't know. We think they're ours. Remember those drones over those Jersey Bay? We think they're ours. A couple of them could be China. We don't know. Remember that? Is there a ship that's Iranian ship off the coast? people like that's bullshit. And then somebody said, well, there was actually a ship. The people that I have talked to about this they truly do not know, which is a little scary. You'd want them to know. Some of the people I'm talking to, you'd want to know. You'd want them to go, I 100% know X, or I 100% know Y. But they're not saying that. They're saying, well, I loved Charlie and I loved his wife and, I'm being respectful and I don't know. And I have feelings that are weird. And I have suspicions that are odd. And that's coming from very smart people, very connected people, people that they don't know and are saying we don't know. And it's not the vice president. It's nobody in the administration. I'll say that because I don't want to. I know the news will pick this up and they'll be like, Tim Dillon. Whoa. It's no one in the administration, but it's all right outside of it, baby. It's right outside. So people going, I don't know. I don't know. Scary thing to hear. Weird thing to hear. Weird thing to hear. Make of it what you will. Make of it what you will. They've already fired me from Riyadh. I hope everyone has fun in Riyadh. I hope everyone enjoys it. I hope everyone enjoys it. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do, baby cakes? Daddy will be in Montecito. It's the only town with dignity left in this goddamn dump of a country. Sitting there in a restaurant, median age, 81. 78 to 81, median age, and just a nice 3-hour meal while the sun sets on the eucalyptus trees. And we all walk into Oprah's backyard, and she chooses one of us to ritually sacrifice and cuts our throat from ear to ear, and we bleed onto the soil so that new life will come. At least that's what I hear happens. But I don't really know about this Kirk thing. I'm not commenting because I don't know. I could easily see it being something more than what they say it is. I could easily see it being more than furries and Trantifa and, Frankenstein and, the Mummy. We're at Halloween now and, Dracula. Is there any way to get a copyright-free version of Monster Mash or no way?
Let me see.
I mean, it's such a ubiquitous song to me. It feels like Happy Birthday. It feels like they should have one. Oh, interesting. Maybe. Every time. And by the way, maybe the right wing is correct about it being Trantifa. Every time they talk about Trantifa, I hear this song in my head. Every time. They're furries. They're trannies and they're furries. And they're Marxists. And they're trannies. And they're furries. And they're Marxists. This is what I hear. And it's just a bunch of doctors performing an operation on a tranny furry. This is what I hear. And it could be that. It could be that. Or could be something else. Could be something else. And there's a lot of people out there that just don't quite have a feeling. Some of them have feelings that are bad about it. That it was it clearly was an assassination, but that it was a hit. And it wasn't a random Trantifa furry. But we don't know. Keep watching. Candace is going hard. She's really doing the investigative, whatever, and it goes in different places with her. You know what I mean? we don't know which way it's going to go, but supposedly she got like a big, play this. See what she's doing over there. Because a couple of days ago, she said Gossamer did it. Get up, Gossamer, hit image. Gossamer and hit image. A few days ago, and I think she was kind of going left here, hit image now. Get him up. She said Gossamer. She said Gossamer did it a couple of days ago. So, sure. Now, I don't know. But play her video now because she is talking to people. She seems to care more about this than the FBI. Candace Owens.
Okay, I didn't want to leave you guys on a crazy weekend cliffhanger. I needed to get that information out as soon as possible. Obviously, you can probably see that I received some information, a communication, which answered a lot of questions that the public has had about the story, or rather the non-story that we are getting from the feds, the push that Tyler Robinson is this lone shooter, which they're trying to establish as a fact. Some of the burning questions that we had, okay, well, if he turned himself in, how did he also not confess? I now have the answers to that. The main point, the reason why this information came to me is because there's a narrative being spun right now by the media that Tyler Robinson is or was suicidal. That is not true. And that's a very scary thing when suddenly they're saying he's suicidal and, you know, he's in solitary.
Right. All right. So Monday, she's going to have a lot of it. Her skin always looks insanely good. Not one blemish ever. It's amazing. It's really insane. She's going to have it Monday, and we'll go from there. I don't know. I know a few people that are looking into it, but haven't figured anything out. You know, when you have something like this, you really got to do like, you know, actual, you know, journalism. You got to get people to call you and people to, you know. So I don't know. I don't know what her sources are or who's giving her the info or what the info is, but I do think she was friends with Charlie and she's really taking this very personally and really wants, you know, to leave no stone unturned. That's my impression, truly, that she really wants to get some closure there. And but again, I don't have the I'm not out there on, you know, doing that. Like, I forget what they call it, gumshoe reporting. What do they call this? Gumshoe. There's some type of reporting where it's real investigative journalism where you're knocking on doors and calling people. Gumshoe reporting is a style of investigative journalism that involves in-depth research and detective-like approach. That's exactly what she's doing, gumshoe reporting. I'm not doing that. I'm reacting to what is being reported because I'm writing jokes. I'll see everybody in Columbus. I'll see you in Oklahoma. I'll see you in Colorado. I'll see you in Chicago. I'll see you in San Jose. I'll see you all over the place. I'll see you in Arizona. I'll see you in Fort Lauderdale. I'll see you in Salt Lake. We'll see you in Brea. And we'll see you in Houston. All right. TimDillonComedy.com for tickets to all of those shows. See you soon. Night.